What does Richard Feynman have in common with a rubber duck? Hi everybody, my name is Greg Crable and this is my podcast, something I learned yesterday where I usually talk about publishing. Today I'm talking about problem solving. Today I read about something called Kidlin's Law, and it goes like this. If you write down a problem clearly and specifically, you've solved half of it. Another way to state the Kidlin's Law is if you can't write your problem down clearly, you don't understand it. Now, that really resonated with me. It reminded me of something I heard C.S. Lewis say, not personally, where he said, if you can't explain something with simple words, you really don't understand the problem. And that's similar to something Richard Feynman said, that if you're trying to solve a problem, break it down into simple pieces. Now, these things also relate to a couple of other mental models or problem-solving techniques that are very helpful. One of them is called rubber duck debugging, which sounds silly, but the idea is if you explain the problem to a rubber duck or to any other inanimate object, it helps you, the process of putting it into words helps you to clarify your thinking about the problem and can help you solve it. Now that's similar to other techniques, like there's something called the thinking aloud protocol, where you thinking the problem, speaking it out loud, and articulating it helps you to organize your thoughts, right? Then there's something called the 5 whys, where you act like a 3-year-old, and you just keep saying why. And the more you ask that question, the deeper you get into figuring out what's at the base, what's the root of the problem. Another one is called dialectical thinking. And this is really, really important, especially politically. The idea is to think about the problem from the other point of view. Argue it back and forth. Take your position and argue against it, and then argue against the other position. Arguing both sides of something helps you to get a more nuanced understanding of the problem. And that applies not just to politics or other kinds of things, but it applies to the problem you're trying to solve with your database. The Socratic Method is sort of similar, where act as your own philosophical opponent and keep asking yourself questions. Now, I have a chorus of voices in my head that do that to me all day long, and it's very annoying. But the Socratic Method is, you can apply it to yourself. Act like you're Socrates, interrogating yourself about your own question or your own problem. And then the last one I wanted to mention is a little different. It's called structured procrastination. The idea here is that you work a problem for a little bit, and then you set it aside. Get your conscious mind out of the way. Work on a Sudoku. Work on your guitar. Do something else. Allow your subconscious mind to work the problem for a little while, then come back to the problem. Often you find that you're able to figure it out much more quickly. This works like with a riddle. You think about a riddle for a while, and then you go away from it, and you come back, and yep, now you got it. It's obvious. Now, these kinds of techniques remind me a little bit of my martial arts training. A smaller, weaker opponent can win a fight if they have better technique. Well, in the same way, those of us who aren't geniuses can figure things out, solve problems more effectively if we use the right techniques. So that was my thought for today. I hope it's helpful. If you're curious about me and my work, I work with publishers on MarTech and other kinds of issues. You can learn more about me at crablegroup.com. Thanks so much.